Well, it's time now for your tropical updates. Let's bring in our storm tracker, Jim Cantore. And Jim, a week ago, all eyes were in the Caribbean and perhaps even Gulf of Mexico for something developing. A week later, it's pretty quiet out there.
Yeah, it really is. But, you know, Paul, I kind of separate August through the end of September, August 1st through the end of September, as in 4 quarters, just like a football game. I mean, we can go the whole first half with a 0-0 score, right? But it can be an exciting finish to the game. And so my point is don't, think that what's happening now is going to happen in the second 2 quarters, all right, or the second half. All right, so let's see what's going on here in the Gulf of Mexico. Little shower and thunderstorm activity associated with the northern end of a tropical wave, and you can kind of see that right in through here. No chance for either one of these to develop, I don't believe. I mean, we just have too much of a hostile environment going on over here. A lot of upper level winds in the 30 to 40 knot range. So it's even higher than that miles per hour sitting overhead. So nothing that we think is going to develop. But certainly if you're watching us in the islands, which I know many of you do, you're kind of welcoming the showers and the thunderstorms. Just kind of water your gardens and your lawns and whatnot. Occasionally knock off the salt on top of the car, right? Because it builds up on top of the car and the power poles. So you count on these showers to kind of clean things out a little bit. All right, so again, the winds not very, very favorable. These are the ones that we really concentrate in on this time of the year. Out here is what we call the main development region in the Atlantic Basin. So once storms get through the dry air, if they make it through that, which we have seen none of them do, then they have to encounter these upper level winds. So right now, there's really nothing across the Atlantic Basin that tells us that we even have a small window of opportunity for development. So there's all the dry air, and some of that is coexisting, if you will, with the strong upper level flow. Now, so if we've just kind of counted out this week, let's go see what's cooking across Africa, because this is where inevitably our action is going to come from this time of the year. So we can see at least 3, maybe 4 waves that are sitting right across Africa right now, and they're going to come off the African coast and try and make their way across the Atlantic. First of all, the one that was Invest 94E or L yesterday has pretty much gone. I mean, look at the dry air here, just dominated by dry air. And even down the road, about 200 hours, the models are very consistent in developing yet another strong high up in 3 years. So this weakens in time. This may allow 1 or 2 of these waves to develop, but then that high comes back. So there is going to be a small window perhaps next week for something to develop. All right, so let's take a look at these waves. Here's the one that came off yesterday, and there's going to be something else out here which will come into play here. So let's take a look at what these models do here as we go forward. They take both of these little areas of spin, try and develop this one a little bit as it heads toward the islands, and then kind of have this stretched out area across the Atlantic. Perhaps those are those 2 waves that we saw on the African African infrared shot. So again, guys, remember we're playing from August 1st with 4 quarters here. All right, all the way to the end of September, and that means we certainly have a shot at a much more active second half here as we are now getting into the second quarter of the big game we call the 2013 hurricane season. Kel, back to you.
Thanks, Jim.
It ain't over till it's over.